Good to see you,
Good
Senator.
to be with you, Margaret.
So you have made some news this morning, Senator, saying it is time for Joe Biden to pass the torch. Did he know you were going to publicly say this?
They were informed. Let me make sure that we preface this by saying how we got to where we got to. For 3 weeks, I haven't said anything because I thought after the debate that the president needed to process that, and it took a week. I thought, there might be some movement there. And then the next 2 weeks have been from my colleagues around the country, whether it be Congress districts or whether it be states of senators that are in really challenging areas. Now you're hearing from them and the concerns they have with down ballot and how it might affect them. Then on top of that, you have the donor class who is showing great reserve right now. With that, I do this with a very heavy heart in saying that I would like for President Biden to be able to finish his 5 months of leading this country, truly leading this country, the way I know he can. I've known him for many, many years. He's a good person. He's a patriot. He wants to do the right thing. He wants to heal and bring people together. And if at this point in time he would pass that torch, he would be able to focus all of his energy toward in the next 5 months of how do we heal? How do we stop the fighting in Gaza? How do we get to a peace treaty? How do we support Ukraine so that they can have a strong position at the bargaining table? These are the things, and then basically show the rest of the world how the superpower of the world is able to have a transfer of power and do it in the most beneficial way for the whole world to see that it can be done.
But Republicans are saying if he can't stand for re-election, then he can't even serve the next 5 months.
Let me just say about re-election.
You think he's capable of serving the next 5 months?
Congressman Turner and I both understand this, that the rigors of a campaign is tough. I've been on statewide campaigns. He's in a large area, in a large district. These are tough, and it takes a lot of toll. The president needs to be the president, okay? But being in a campaign mode every day being a campaign mode, think what the next speech is going to be, the next fundraiser is going to be, takes you away from the needs that we have in the world today and in our country. I definitely believe he can do that. And I believe he can do it better than anybody else and leave with a legacy unmatched. That's what I know can be done and should be done. And I'm just very hopeful that this torch is passed to a new generation to allow President Biden be the president I know he is and can be. We have our disagreements. We get back and forth, but I have all the confidence in the world he can do that.
How much time do Democrats have to settle this?
I think the time is very short. I mean, if it goes into the convention itself, that changes the whole dynamics. But before the convention, I believe that there could be an open primary process and let the cream rise. I've got 2 governors in my neighborhood. I've got Kentucky, Andy Beshear, and I've got Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, both working in challenging areas, both able to work with a legislature that is not of their own party, being able not to villainize anyone who happens to have an R by their name because they have a D by their name, and bringing their states together and having some progress. Let's hear from some of the rising stars, this new generation.
But Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party. If you bypass the Vice President, Kamala Harris, doesn't that undermine
This is not about race and gender, Margaret.
But it's about votes.
Well, it's not about race
turnout.
Okay, but the bottom line is 51% of those people who are participating in voting in the process in America are registered independents. They're not registered Democrat or Republican, only 25% Republican and 23% Democrats. These are people that want issues solved. So worrying about whose agenda and what race you are, other than what the issues are, how do they lose Democrats like me, Margaret? A lifelong Democrat from West Virginia. I was raised in a family and also an understanding that that's not my enemy on the other side. Democrats were basically held accountable and responsible. We are basically fiscally responsible and socially compassionate. And I don't believe the government should be your provider.
So if you go through this open process before the convention, and Kamala Harris, the vice president, emerges as the nominee, would you be able to support her?
Well, it depends on what the policies are. I want to see the platform change.
Would you be
I would consider, sure, I would consider.
In a vice presidential spot on that ticket?
It's not me. No, forget about me.
You're not going to run?
No. This is a new generation, Margaret. We've got a lot of deep people on the bench that can serve, and they have proven their mettle by being in an executive position. Give them a chance to rise. Give the President Biden a chance to do what he really, really can do. See, I believe that a president should only have 1 6-year term. I don't believe there should ever be a re-election. And why that? You need a president from day one till the day they finish.
So last night in Michigan, this is what Donald Trump had to say about the disarray